Hey there, group students. Dr. Brazier here. Let's take a look at what is going on in session 4. So session 4 content, let's take a look. Start course, topic outcomes. By the end of the session, you should be able to analyze the salient features of each theoretical orientation as they apply to group counseling and analyze the current trends in each of the theoretical orientations as they, again, apply to group counseling. So you'll be reading chapters 9 and 10 in your Corey textbook, chapter 9 being existential approach to groups, chapter 10 being person-centered approach to groups, so both sort of humanistic approaches to group counseling. In your Yalom Gift of Therapy book, you will be reading chapters 66 through 85. Enjoy, I know you will. Chapter presentations, here are the slides that you can download for 9 and 10 if you so choose to help you study for your quiz. Videos, here's a very brief video on shallow small group Bible study, and then here is another brief video, shallow small group Bible study 2. So very brief little videos for you to watch. Your FICIP for this week says love and the working stage of group. Please meditate on the following passages. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. And then this is Galatians 6:1 through 5. Brothers and sisters, if someone is caught in sin, you who live by the Spirit should restore that person gently. But watch yourselves, or you also may be tempted. Carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. If anyone thinks they're something when they're not, they deceive themselves. Each one should test their own actions, and then they can take pride in themselves alone, without comparing themselves to someone else, for each should carry their own load. Notice here the interesting seeming contrast. But actually they work well together. Each person must carry their own load, but we are to carry one another's burdens. So thinking about what's the difference between then a burden and a load, and how do I discern if I am carrying other people's burdens rather than carrying their loads for them, which will actually prevent them from getting stronger and more resilient, or how am I doing myself carrying my own load? Okay, let's see. There are the references. You'll do your session 4 quiz. You'll do your theory-specific inventory. And let's take a special look here at your session 4 paper. This will be due Sunday before midnight Mountain Standard Time, the end of session 4. And it is sort of your big assignment for this course, other than participating in group experiences as a group member. This is the big assignment. So let's go take a look at what it actually entails. Boundaries, group leadership, and conflict resolution are all important skills you need as a group therapist throughout all parts of leading a group: forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. The use of these skills will constantly be in flux, challenging you to grow and adapt as the group leader. Discuss the following questions cohesively in your paper. Make sure you're adhering to APA formatting for your heading styles. Utilize the Yalom text to support your answers. So you need to be citing, you don't have to quote, you can just refer to, but you need to cite and reference Yalom. Provide 3 to 4 paragraphs highlighting at least 3 points from the Yalom text that explore what made the book meaningful for you. 3 to 4 paragraphs focus just on Yalom, pulling out the pieces that were most salient and impactful for you. Discuss any points made by Yalom that you reject or do not see yourself utilizing in your counseling work, and explain why, and integrate scripture throughout. This is very important. We are not to be consumers of even really quality counseling literature, whether that's textbooks or, more easily accessible books like Yalom's book, or even peer-reviewed, professional, recent counseling journals. We are not to be just indiscriminate consumers. We are to bring critical eye to what we're reading, asking ourselves questions throughout. If it's a research project, questions like, was this research even conducted in an ethical and competent manner? What might the researchers have missed? What might have skewed their results that they aren't identifying in the discussion section under limitations, right? Or in something like Yalom, this is Yalom's perspective. Two things can be true at once. Yes, that's the idea of a dialectic. It can be true that there's a lot of value and benefit to this book, while also being true that there are some things that he asserts in this book that I disagree with or find concern about. Both can be true at once in a quality piece of work, right? So we are to bring a critical eye. We are to be critically thinking about what we're consuming. Very important as counselor educators, not to just swallow without examining all that we're being taught, even by your professor. Don't even uncritically swallow everything I say. Ponder it. Ask questions about it. Poke holes in it. Find answers for yourself. Ask those creators for answers. To call them accountable to what they've created in a respectful, professional, curious manner, not in a haha gotcha manner, right? We're not trying to one up or win. We're trying to get us all to win by reaching a better and better and better understanding, getting more and more and more close to what is like fully true, by being colleagues who are critical thinkers. Okay, so that's what this is asking you to do. What do you love and find especially helpful that Yalom asserts? What do you not love and find less helpful, maybe even concerning about what Yalom asserts, and why? Support your answer, right? Not just, I don't like it. It doesn't fit with me. Maybe that wouldn't be good. Those are general. Why? What specifically is about it? And you can pull in other authors and contrast what Yalom is asserting that you find concerning with what other authors have said that might disagree. Okay? This is calling you to a higher standard of thinking, right, in this course, but in all of our courses. So 1 to 2 pages, double-spaced, on boundaries. Okay, and I recommend that you go ahead and use these bolded sections that they're describing. Go ahead and use them as first-level headings in your work. So it should look like this. A title page formatted correctly. The top of the first page should reiterate the title, but it should not say introduction. We don't do that, weirdly. In APA 7, we don't have a first level heading that says introduction, even though we do need a first level heading that says conclusion. Why? I don't know. I guess it's implied that the introduction will be the very first paragraph of your paper. So do have an introductory paragraph, but don't have a first level heading that says introduction. Just do it. Then maybe your first level heading after your introduction paragraph is said, it's called boundaries, and then you do a couple of pages on boundaries. Then your next first level heading would be group leadership, 1 to 2 pages on group leadership. Then conflict resolution. First level headings, remember, are centered, bolded, title case, where every important word is capitalized. Yes. So this tells you exactly what you need to explore in each section. So pay attention. Make sure you are fully addressing the prompt. So you need at least a paragraph, if not more, on how you will establish clear, appropriate boundaries between yourself and the members so you can function most effectively in your role as a group leader. So this isn't saying tell what good group leaders do to establish clear and appropriate boundaries. It's saying what will you do? Do you see the difference? I will. It's telling you how to write this paragraph. As a competent group leader, I will. And then say what you're going to do. Still cite and reference, but it's not this general thing of great group leaders do this. It's not generalized. It's asking you to be specific. What will you do? Okay. And then how will you promote appropriate boundaries between members? At least one paragraph on how you will do that. I will. As a competent group leader, I will. Right? Same with group leadership. How will you approach as a leader of adolescent groups be different than your approach as leader of adult groups? So I will, recognizing that developmentally adults are different from adolescents. Here is how I, as a competent group leader, will run groups for adolescents, and how that will look different than how I, the competent group leader, run groups for adults. See the difference? Okay, so I'm really excited to see you guys apply this in your papers and write them in first person, because that's what the prompt is calling for. When you read the prompt, it should give you all kinds of clues. What your section headings should be, what you should accomplish in each section heading, and how you should accomplish it. Okay. So then 1 to 2 pages on conflict resolution, which should be its own first level heading, conflict resolution, centered, bolded, title case, and then 1 to 2 pages on that, answering all 4 of these questions. And then growth as the leader, 1 to 2 pages, that should be the first level heading. You don't have to get creative. You can go ahead and just pull straight from that, right? And make that your first level heading. Answering those 4 questions in 1 to 2 pages. And then they want you to incorporate scripture throughout. They don't want you to tack on a paragraph at the end about what does the Bible say about group. They want it interwoven throughout each section. Each section should spend a little bit of time exploring from a biblical perspective what we're talking about here. I want to see it woven in throughout. Okay, very important. Page length is 10 pages max. APA formatted. Now remember, you're going to have a first level heading at the end called conclusion, and you're going to have a single concluding paragraph that ties everything in a nice bow. Yes? So if we talked about 1 to 2, if it was 2 pages on boundaries, 2 pages on leadership, 2 pages on conflict resolution, 2 pages on growth as the leader, that's only, is that 8 pages? So then that leaves a bit for an intro paragraph and a concluding paragraph, but don't forget that you're also supposed to be exploring what you really appreciated and are, and are poking holes in as far as Yalom is concerned. You're also being asked to use not only the Bible, so I need to see actual scripture quoted. You don't have to quote it, you can refer to it, but be sure you cite it and then reference the Bible in your references section, and a Bible commentary. It's a required source, and then the Corey textbook. So you know exactly which sources you have to use, but also you need to be using other outside academic sources. Now these could be textbooks from previous courses. You could even use your Corey textbook from your theories course, right? Also articles, anything like that. Articles on successful adolescent groups, like all kinds of interesting things you can pull in here. Please make sure they are recent, which means they are published in the last 10 years. So anything before 2015 is off the table. Or that they're seminal. Seminal is like the Yalom text. Seminal is, if you were talking about like a person-centered approach and you wanted to reference Carl Rogers himself, anything Carl Rogers wrote would be considered seminal, even though it's much older than 15 years. Yes? Okay. So that is the paper. I look forward to interacting with your work. Thank you.